And you're
Oh,
the IT guy.
That's better.
Awesome. So what's going on, people?
Not much. Lockdown life.
Lockdown life.
Lockdown life. A lot of
Phil
studying,
got
bit
his
of training.
haircut. That's
I
the
got my
biggest
haircut.
news.
Yeah.
That's the biggest news of all time. That's all I've got. How are you, Matthew?
I am just wonderful now that
How did your interview go with Steve? Was it Steve's weight loss?
Yeah, Steve, really good. He's like, I even said it to him on the live that like normally a lot of those weight loss transformation accounts are like give terrible advice where like they're like, this is what works for me and this is the only way to do it and there's no other way. And whether it's like Slimming World or Weight Watchers or if they use one of them, whatever, they're bought into it then. But I like him because he's always said, like, this worked for me. That doesn't mean it'll work for you. But here's what I did. You might get something from it, you might not. And then like, yeah, he's had a mad journey. Like he lost like over 50 kg. He had cancer.
Wow.
Like, had loads of shit going on.
Yeah. Seems like a really cool guy though, like, you know.
Really nice guy. I don't even remember how we came across each other, but we've been internet buddies for a while.
And is he Irish or is he?
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
he's
cool.
from Galway. Does that count?
Yes, just about.
He's from some remote part of Galway. I don't know. That's
Cool.
Galway itself is remote enough, I guess. But
Cool.
what's been going on with you, Phil? You had a busy week in college.
Yeah, I still have another 2 big weeks in college, so I'm just like doing assignments and stuff like that. Still doing a bit of training. Still doing trying to get out for my runs, kind of every day or every second day. Enjoying it for the most part, getting my running in. So I actually just do it instead of conditioning now. So what I'll do is I'll just do like a strength piece, probably not as like intense or as long as I would normally do. So I'll just do little few bits and pieces of strength work and then just go out for a run and then just, I don't know. It's nice to get out this time of year as well, a bit of fresh air. But one of the days, it was like 2 or 3 days ago, and it was like the hardest run of all time. It was just the worst ever. Just to try and convince myself to go, and then I was out there. I was like, "Oh, just turn back halfway," and then I had a stitch and everything. And just, I suppose we probably all have that voice in our head, the voice of like comfort that's saying, "Just stop, don't do it," or you know, whatever it is to just give up. So it was just like that the whole way around. But I just kept telling it to fuck off and got through it. So it was good. I enjoyed it. And then I ran yesterday and it was grand. So I think that could be a thing. People are probably hearing that voice a lot lately, the way things are. So it's just learning how to deal with it.
Yeah. I even like we were saying before in other episodes, my day to day hasn't really changed a huge amount apart from coaching in Tala. But like this week, for some reason, I had a really tough mental week where I was like, this is fucking stupid, man. I fucking hate this lockdown. Lockdown's fucking stupid. And just had like a really struggling to find motivation week mentally, where like now it's like, it's weird because I can't do stuff. I'm like, oh, I want to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was weird. It was a tough week mentally for me. I don't know.
I think a lot of people are finding that now. Like it's really, I suppose, trying to add up. I suppose it has been for a lot of people already, but probably really tough for people with families, like bigger families, more people in a smaller space. So that's not something I'm going to take for granted. That it's just grand. Like at least it's nice and quieter for me, you know, that way. So it is grand.
And let's go somewhere it's not quiet. Nukes, how are you getting?
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
What did you do this week?
Same things. Bit of training, bit of running, lots of walking. Yeah, not a whole lot different. But even Ross actually was saying to Dave yesterday how he loves this lockdown. And it was really funny listening to the words that he was using. Like he's so grown up sometimes when he's talking, but saying like this is the best time ever, you know, that he can spend all the time at home with his family, always here. You know, nobody's rushing off to do things or go places. It's really quiet as well. Like when we do go out for walks and stuff, it's not crazy and stuff. He's loving life at the moment, you know. So I suppose different perspectives, and then you kind of go, well, you know what, he's right actually. Just take the good out of it, you know. Even Dave was saying like he's obviously off work at the moment as well, and like he'd never have the chance to take a week off and to be at home for a week, the kind of way. So I suppose you kind of just have to say, look, let's make the most out of it, and we're getting lots of things done in the house, so I can't really complain.
I look forward to seeing what your back garden will look like once all this is over.
I know, yeah.
Well, I
Jungle
mean,
gym.
it's painted and it's clean and it's tidy, and got loads of plants and stuff this week, so it's good.
Cool.
Yeah, that's kind of it.
What's going on with you?
Yeah, same as bit of training, bit of running, running. I thought I'd make the approach of the last time I did the run, I started too slow. And then by the end, I was nearly trying to make up time. So I was like, I'll just start fast. It was the worst idea ever. I was like 2K in, and I was just dying. And then it was just like trying to hold on to the end. So that was a bad idea. But other than that, yeah, it's pretty good. Similar enough, I suppose everyone's the same. The weeks are probably just like molding into one now at this stage. But yeah, like for most of us, we're all pretty all right. As in, like, we're lucky enough that like we don't have anyone probably at home we're trying to isolate from, or they're really sick or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, I was watching a program on RT the other day, and Yuan's daughter had like CF or whatever, and I was like, fuck, imagine how scary that would be. So none of them, like, even going into the supermarket, the mother was like shitting it, and you would be like absolutely shitting a brick. So I suppose appreciate that we don't have that kind of a worry either. Like,
yeah. It's funny that like something like that, and then even Ross, like that shit just kind of puts stuff in perspective, where like people have that going on, and sometimes it takes like a kid to say something like that, and you're like, he's fucking right. It's funny. Nukes, loads of people hitting me up about your core challenge. And people just asking, I was talking to like a friend of mine who is in a gym. He lives abroad. And I was asking what sort of core work they were doing, because his back was at him and stuff like that. And they only ever do sit-ups as core work. So I was like, oh, you should like follow Lou. She's done a core challenge. I don't think you've done sit-ups, have you? You've done it?
There was one kind of a pillow pass sit-up kind of thing, but it wasn't really, no, I haven't really done.
But loads of variations on that.
So there's so much stuff. Even I've noticed, like, I've done this time last, it was around this time last year. I done a core challenge, and I had, obviously, I was in the gym, so I was using equipment, so there was things out of bars, and you were using other bits and pieces. But with this one, obviously, because we're in a lockdown and most people are at home, and a lot of people have no equipment, I'm trying to do it with as little or no equipment as possible, that kind of way. So and obviously not all of these things are going to suit people that have back issues, or that, some things are just not going to be good for some people. And that's fine, but message or, drop a line if there is a problem with something like that, and we can change it up. But it's just kind of for general pop, just to try and get a little bit of core work in, But yeah, there's lots of stuff that you can do without it, and variations, and everything is scalable and changeable and stuff,
And how far are you going to go? 30?
I don't know. We'll see. There's still lots more that I haven't done. That I'm still going, what? Because I mean, even if you were to say, like, I could say to you, like, I can give you 30 different plank variations. Just a plank alone, like, there's so many things that you can do. And I'm actually using a lot of it now as part of my run warm up. So anytime I'm going out for a run, I'm saying, like, no, I'm going to do this first. So I'll do this and I'll record it as I'm doing it, and it's my 4 minutes of that, and then I'll do a little bit of glute and leg work, and then I'm gone. And it's been a day that there are days that are really good runs then, because obviously you use your core for everything that you do, and it's really important that you have a strong kind of stable core.
That's probably something that a lot of people have, like, because a lot more people are running now, like, nobody really warms up for running unless you're an experienced runner. They'll just say, oh yeah, I'll just like go out my door and I'm gone, I'm running.
Yeah. And I would have done that. I'd do that a lot, but not anymore because, and I'm not experienced runner or, anything like that. But the difference in warming up properly and even trying to fix, I know like people say, oh, that you just run or whatever. But last year, I think as well as last year, I tried to change the way I run. I was trying to get more up onto my toes and stuff like that. And the difference that it makes to your running, like I feel so much lighter, I'm faster, I look better. If you're looking at me running, I look like I'm running properly. Whereas then when I change it back, it's just you're heavy, you're plodding, everything is just, so there's a lot more to it than just going out your door. And you see it with people over time, they're getting injured, crazy injuries, because they're just pounding the pavements constantly with no proper warm up and no strength work either and stuff like that. So the balance again always comes down to that, I think,
It's just so accessible, really, isn't it? Like it's just so easy.
Oh, it is, and it's free. I mean,
Yeah.
and a lot of time, people go through different times and stuff, and sometimes they just need the headspace, which is great. You can just get out and go anytime, any direction. You can go for as long or as short or as fast or as slow or whatever you want, which is great. But it's really important to warm up, for it. And definitely, I would say to people, anybody out there running, just try and do a little bit of core work as well, because you'll definitely notice the difference when you're going out for a run. You definitely hold yourself better. Even when I used to do the core conditioning classes, like you'd be doing stuff and you feel a difference in your performance on a machine, like on the rower, on the bike, on the skier, because you're engaging your core more, you're using it much more, So it's definitely something that everybody should be looking at, I think, or doing a little bit of.
Yeah. Carl, I think did you have like an IGTV up talking about this? About how to build volume or something?
Yeah, just controlling volume. Obviously warm-ups are a completely different section. Like Lou said, you could do so much on that, and like Lou's putting up the core challenge and stuff like that. We should all maybe put up like our own warm-ups that we do for running or whatever. But like that volume is kind of like the big driver in running, why people get injured and stuff, that kind of way. So especially now, if you're like me, you never ran, then you're like, oh, running's great, let's go run all the time, and you're running every day or every second day or whatever. Like realistically, for most people, that isn't going to last long, and you're going to get a couple of weeks in and get shin splints or pull a calf or whatever it might be. So probably controlling the volume of it, and like that, because it's so accessible. Like if someone had a barbell out the back, they wouldn't go out and do like whatever 100 back squats every day, but they might go out and try and run a distance they've never ran and just keep trying to improve on that. You know what I mean? So controlling the volume, the amount you do, and giving adequate recovery time in between, and then building it over the weeks is probably the biggest thing you can do to kind of keep yourself injury free.
Yeah, this is out there now to the public. So one of you two or both of you have to post a running warm up this week. Pressure's on now. Yeah.
Well, like it's always like
Colin.
running. It has to be kind of running based, like base your warm up on what you're doing, and just I think the biggest mistake people do is like static stretching beforehand, like static calf stretch and stuff like that, and they stretch away all their athleticism. And then the first like couple of K to run is really slow, and they're wondering what's going on, why am I faster later on, and they've just got that stiffness back after running the couple of K. But the biggest focus is like on ankle and foot stiffness before you run. So kind of like bounds, jumps, things like that. All movement, no like static stretching. That'd be probably one thing I would avoid. And like Lou said, then strength training. That's, you know what I mean? Like you gotta have strong hamstrings, you gotta have strong calves, you gotta do all that. But I'll put something up. I'll do it this way.
With running, is it like 3 to 4 times your body weight comes down on you or something?
That's it. Like, it's a serious impact, like all the time, like, so yeah. Days rest in between is important.
Phil, what about you? You feel you're doing a good bit of running?
Yeah, no, that's a really interesting point about like, strong hamstrings, strong calves and stuff like that. I found, and it's only kind of gone now after my kind of 11th or 12th run in the last 2 weeks. My calves, it always felt like my calves were like my limiting factor. My lungs were fine, my quads were fine, didn't feel anything on my hamstrings. When I'm running, the way I go, it's a little bit hilly, like it's on the curve, but there are gradients. Lou knows a couple of the little hills. There's some really tough little hills out there. And
You
every
fucking
time I
suckered
came
me
back,
into like a 10K one day. He was like, come on, we'll just do like 3 or 4K. It'll be nice and easy. 10K later, we get back
10K
to
later. But yeah, I felt like my calves, they were the limiting factor when I was running, and I could feel them every single time. And they're probably like the only muscle group that I don't specifically train in the gym as well, that I wouldn't target. So when I was running, I really felt like I was really aware of it. I'm like, I feel like that's the limiting thing. That's the thing that I haven't been doing. Not to say like I'm going to start just training my calves all the time or anything like that, but it just highlights the point that Carl says, the kind of, if there are weak links, and if there are a lot of them, and you don't control your volume, you're probably going to run into some problems.
Yeah,
what's the Millhouse thing? They're the hardest place to add mass.
yeah. And it's very just sport specific, or like, movement specific. So like if you haven't played, even if you're really fit and you like run and you lift weights and you do all that, and you've great aerobic fitness and great strength and all that, but you haven't played a game of GA whatever in a year, and you're a GA player, it doesn't matter how fit you are, how strong you are, that first game you play, you're going to be in bits after. That kind of way. So like, I think we could train all this stuff in the gym, but doing the actual thing is what's going to build the resilience as well, that kind of way. We'll come back to a lot of things, like people like, oh, I'm going to do this like 20 minutes of hip work to get better at squats, and then they're just kind of like not wanting to learn a better pattern of squat and learn how to squat better. So they do like 20 minutes of mobility work on their hips and then squat the same way they always did. Like the 20 minutes of mobility work, like, it's not going to do much because your pattern's wrong, your brace is wrong, whatever it might be, you know what I mean? But the actual movement is the problem, not what you're not doing beforehand. And that would be me running. Like Lou said, like, I'm fucking terrible. Like, pounding the pavement, stop myself on each stride, and
that's like 400 or 500 kg on each stride.
That's just because I haven't, that's not my thing. I haven't ran enough. I haven't practiced actual movement enough. So it doesn't matter how fit or strong I am. I'm going to take doing the movement more to get better at it.
Yeah. So sub 25K, is that still a thing?
I don't think I do it without being under 85 kilos. I remember before I went down, I weighed like 92 or something like that, and I went down to 83 before. That was the lightest I've ever got. And running was just like so easy. I was like, fuck, no wonder people like running. This is grand. You just fly around. And now I'm back like, 92 or whatever, like on my choice, like, you know what I mean? Obviously helps for some stuff, but running is just so fucking hard when you're heavy. It's so hard. So I think I would need to be under that weight. I'd need to be under, I think, 85 to do that. And there's no surprise, all the runners, like, you have to be so light. See, some guy, Phil, you know him, I think an English Premiership player or whatever, put up like, everyone's doing 5K and tagging 5 people or whatever like that, and he ran it in like 16:11 or something.
Fuck.
Like that. And like,
I don't know, is that true though?
I know, I think he had like the thing up of it and everything.
Yeah.
People were going on like, it's so funny, like, you watch social media, people are going on like, oh, he's a professional player, like, that's not impressive at all. I'm like, what are you on? Like, the world record is like 12:50 something or something, and this guy's a soccer player. He did like 16:11. Like, it's unreal.
Yeah, I saw that, and I think someone had said that it wasn't true, but it's irrelevant anyway. And that someone said like, oh, his real time was 20 minutes, and then there was people giving out saying, oh my God, he's a professional football player. He's only doing it in 20 minutes. It should be better. I'm like, yeah, but you're not a professional football player. Like, if Ross Barkley gives you a football and puts you out onto a pitch there in the stadium and says play Premiership football, you can't do it. So
I remember me and Lou
internet
were doing
arguments.
Yeah, me and Lou were doing that 5K in Garvan years ago, and Gary Cully, the boxer, was there doing it. And you ran 2.5K down, then ran 2.5K back, and I swear we were at like we were barely even on like the 2.5K down, like, and Gary was running the other way, and I was just like, what? Like, the speed to run a 5K like at that kind of 16, 17, 80 minutes now, like, it's literally like me sprinting just the whole thing, like it's phenomenal. Like.
I'll never forget going through. I can't remember what airport it was. But they had it on the screen. Someone had just broken, I think, like the marathon world record or whatever it was at the time, and they had like along this like wall of like, it must have been 50 meters long, but it was just this big long video, and every couple of seconds, like an image of him running at the pace he ran would flash along the wall, and you could try and follow along. And I was like, oh yeah, I can do this. I was like 80% sprinting. And this guy was running a marathon. I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
So impressive, like, you know what I mean? And I think people think because we're into kind of more gym work or whatever, that we don't maybe appreciate, you know, the different kind of sports or whatever. But I just have such admiration for people that run, like, you know, that run that fast. Like, it's crazy.
I listened to a podcast this morning, and they were interviewing this guy who did 30 marathons in 30 days, right? And one of the people said to him that like it's for people who are into fitness and running, you can understand like the impact on his body and like mentally and just how challenging it was. But he said like people who don't run or don't really understand fitness will look at that and say, oh yeah, well done. But like you were saying, we'll never really understand how impressive to do something like that is, to run one marathon, never mind fucking 30.
But that's it. Yeah.
Like,
yeah. We were only talking about the other day. I was like, someday I will run a marathon, but probably, probably like, you know, lots of years from now. But it's
you have to be 83 for that, man.
It was like it's you'd have. I think that definitely have to be under 80 maybe for that. You know what I mean? Like that's a serious distance. And people kind of say it like nonchalantly, like, you know, oh, I'll run a marathon or whatever. Like, it's just such a big thing, like such a big thing to do, and such a kind of time commitment and training commitment, and it's crazy.
Let's do it, Carl. You knew. Come on, we'll train together.
No, not yet.
Give the people what they want.
I actually have a good question here. What's one quality in the other coaches in the group that you most admire?
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a good one, huh?
Sure.
Do you want me to go first because it lets you think about it?
Sure.
I suppose, Matt, you're up top left. That you're kind of like fearless with stuff and don't worry about stuff too much. So I could say to you like, oh, we're going to talk to this group or whatever about anything, and you wouldn't even ask a detail. You just like, all right. And then you just like wing it and just show up. You know what I mean? Like, we'll keep it short so we can go through it, whatever. But like, I wouldn't be able to do that. Like, I'd be like, all right, what are we going to talk about? Who's going to be there? What's going to, you know what I mean? And you just wouldn't even ask a question. I think that's class. Like, you know what I mean? Lou, your organization of like, how do you do all that stuff with the kids and training and all that class? I have one kid and I can barely keep up with doing anything. Like, your whole life kind of revolves around that. So that's class. And then Phil, I suppose your detail with stuff. Everything is like done really well, organized. That's class. That's three of them I'm no good at. You know that kind of way? So that's probably me. What about you, Maddie?
About me, I think I can nearly like sum the three of you up with the same thing, where like all three of you are just genuine good people. Like, we all, like, ye all want what's best for me and vice versa. Like, so I think all of us, if like Phil or Lou, if Phil did something amazing, like Lou and Carl would be the first ones to say, that's fucking unreal. And the same with each of us. Like, I think the three of you genuinely want to see other people succeed as much as yourselves. And that's like rare for sure. Yeah.
Bill?
Carl, feels like you had so much time to prepare that. It's like you paid someone to write out a speech. I'm here like, well, if I say something and then I don't remember something and then someone, no, but the first thing that did spring to my mind is just what Matt said there. And it is just, aside from the support, it's just like kind of morally and ethically that you're all just really good people, I think. And I'm not saying the fitness industry, anything, I suppose, anything in life, it can be hard to find, you know, a good group of friends, a solid group of friends, people who kind of, their values in life and fitness are aligned with yours. And I think that just the three is just, I think I could. The biggest compliment I could pay the tree is, I suppose, is that I would trust the tree is with my life, or anything that needed to be done, or anything. Hey,
Can't get away
anything that
anywhere.
needed to be done. So, that's probably the best quality out of all trees. But that wasn't fair, Call. You ambushed us there.
Yeah.
Well, I think like we're all along the same path that way. But like, Lou, what do you think?
Yeah, I like the same. Everything that you've said, like it's so Jesus, it's so hard. I'd like time to think about it. I'll come back to you next week on this one.
Yeah.
I suppose individually, like you've all, I think we're all quite similar in the way we think about training and the industry and everything. So that is one thing for each one of you, obviously, and the friendships and stuff like that there. Philly, his commitment to his studies, and it's just, I really, really think that's incredible. I admire it so much that he just, everything else, nothing else is, it's just getting top priority, and I think it's great. Matty, the like that team wing it, we'll be back. Just and having the crack, and no matter what, it doesn't matter. I love that. I know that I can count on any of you at any time of the day or night to give you a shout or whatever, and you'll be there, which is great. Colin as well, with everything, just with training and just being there, you've been great. Like, great support for me. All of you have been, especially this last year. So I don't know. I can't put it into words.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
Need like a big virtual hug now, guys.
Yeah.
What a question that was.
Well, I think it's a very good question.
Yeah.
But I think it's that, like, I suppose it sums it up that, like, all the, like, you kind of care about what you're delivering to people. Like, if someone offered you, right, you're going to get paid this much a week or whatever like that, and you're going to take this group of like 70-year-olds and make them do 100 burpees a day, and that'll be their workout, but I'm going to pay you like, 100 grand a year or whatever it is. But because that's shit, you just be like, no. You know what I mean? So it's not kind of in it for like the money, or like everyone has to make a living or whatever like that, but like the kind of the value of what you're doing comes first. Like. So I think that's probably why we all are in a group together.
Yeah.
I think that's why we complement each other so well, like that. Like we all have different strengths, but like we genuinely, I want to see you succeed as much, if not more, than I want to see myself succeed. But just, it's funny what you're saying about winging it, where like now that I'm doing these Instagram lives, some of the guests are like, "Oh yeah, what questions are you gonna ask me?" And like, what are you gonna say? And all this, I'm like, "Well, we're gonna go live and just see what happens." I'm like,
I think that's why it works so well, because like, anyone else is like going through stuff and they have their list and they're like,
yeah.
when the person's kind of answering, they're thinking about what they're going to ask them next, so they're not actually like listening per se.
They're not in the
I think
conversation.
you see that a lot. You see that.
Yeah. Whereas your interviews are more like you just having a chat with the person, and then like there's no like, oh, we're following this line. It's like, oh yeah, we'll go here, whatever pops up, just go with it. Like, so that's cool.
Cool. Good question. Whoever sent that in.
Yeah. Very good.
One question I got was, what does a typical day of nutrition look like for each of you individually? I think it's important to say that this doesn't mean that this is how people should eat. This is like just what we do. Everybody should do that.
Is this pre-lockdown or lockdown?
Lockdown. This is specifically lockdown.
Oh God.
Yeah. Philip, how many times do you have noodles a day?
I was on a little streak there of having coca noodles every day. Yeah, once a day. But they're actually really calorie dense, so I had to knock that on the head. Typical day for me is just pretty boring. Like during lockdown, because I'm so busy, I find that I don't like have any kind of meals anymore. I really don't get a whole lot of time to do that. So it's honestly just like fruit and sandwiches and protein bars. Honestly, that could just kind of sum up my day the way it is now, because it's whatever's handy the way things are. I'm just so busy and stuff like that. So and obviously it would fall generally within, I kind of because I've tracked my calories for so long before over like different periods of time. I just have a fairly good handle on what a full day's energy is like, you know, as far as the volume of food, the food on the table, and how I feel hunger wise. So I just, yeah, just lots of kind of, you know, sandwiches, lots of like fruit. Snacks would be just protein bars, stuff like that, little bits and pieces, a lot of grazing, but within my energy kind of demands for the day, and some chocolate too. I'm not going to lie, especially over Easter. So
Cool. Newt, you want to go next?
Okay. It's kind of varied when it comes to like breakfast. Is generally first thing is a coffee. Some days I'll have breakfast like porridge or something, and then other days I just won't. I'll wait until, you know, I'm kind of having lunch or something. It's really varied. Lunch is kind of something, it could be soup and a sandwich, or it could be like a toasted sandwich. Yesterday I had the most amazing BLT, which I was dying for. Made on batch bread. Oh, it's amazing. Last night's dinner was steak and veg and chips, you know. But yeah, so there's always a dinner in there, obviously, because you're cooking for a family. So there's a fairly healthy meal, dinner wise, with veg and whatnot. There's lots of fruit, and there's definitely chocolate every day. And there's been a good bit of beer since the lockdown started. I'm not going to lie. I've definitely drank much more than normal, than I'd say in a
What are you
year.
drinking? Out of curiosity.
Carlsberg, cans of Carlsberg, cans of Coors Light, whiskey. So yeah, but not. I mean, not a huge amount, but like it's quite regular. So that's something that I need to sort out. The kids are back to school tomorrow, so the meal times, as in homeschool, should I say? So yeah, I'm going to kind of get everything back on track, because I did go a bit apeshit over Easter with regards to chocolate and Easter eggs and everything. So yeah, just tidy it up, get back into a decent routine. But yeah, 3 meals a day, snacking is, as I said, fruit and stuff like that. But definitely over consuming on calories. That's me.
Oh, are you?
I will be 3 meals a day all the time. Like I'd always have like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and that's just always the way I did it. You know what I mean? So probably similar with that. Morning porridge with fruit, like, you know, whatever, nuts, all that kind of stuff. Either that or eggs and bread. But like, again, quantities will vary. So because I'm probably sticking around the same weight, like there'll be big enough quantities of everything. Lunch will vary, depending on whether I'm making it or not. If I'm making it some type of burger, chicken burger, turkey burger, beef burger, you know, whatever it might be, or else like we've been having fish a bit more, salmon and stuff like that. Then dinner will be same, like meat, veg, whatever, you know, just like a normal dinner or whatever.
Mhm.
Chili, bolognese, whatever it might be. And then in between, plenty of like snacks. So like rhubarb. Jackie has made on her second rhubarb cake at the minute. You know, chocolate, you know, stuff like that, high protein yogurts and stuff like that. But I would definitely have a good portion at the moment of like junk food with for snacks alongside my meals. But then again, I'm probably taking in like 3,500 calories a day, so it might give me more scope than someone that was, you know, that was lighter. And then beer, whiskey, whatever. But again, more than normal. But trying to probably limit that to a few days, which doesn't always work, but it is what it is.
It would be hard for you, I think, Carl, just talking about running before, to go to 83 kg. Like you've been eating like the way you have. Like I've no doubt that you could do it, but it'd be a big change.
Yeah, like cause like if you're at that kind of like a heavier weight and you have that kind of like you're fairly active and you're training and stuff like that, like your calorie ceiling is high enough that you can kind of, you don't have that much restrictions. But at the same time, like I'm not like lean or light or anything. So if you wanted to be, you know, if I wanted to be 83 or anything like that, I would have to obviously not eat all the cake.
Mm. Cool.
How about you, Maddie?
I tend to eat lighter in the mornings just because I'm not hungry in the morning. But since lockdown, I've been having like yogurt and berries. And then I'll have like some sort of sandwich. And I've actually been having a green smoothie every day because just because like the blender is right there. So now that I'm home all the time, I have no excuse not to do it. I can't blame like a busy day or I didn't have time or anything like that because it's right there. But jellies, I have jellies every single day. And I will never ever stop. And then I tend to have like much more of my food in the evening. So I'll have chicken and potatoes and that Mayflower curry sauce. And like honestly, every single day, that's my dinner. Except for last night, I had steak. So we were on the same page last night, Nukes. But yeah, chicken and potatoes and curry sauce. Honest to God, every single night, Aoife will tell you. Like she's like, "Don't you want to try something?" Or tomorrow I might try something different for dinner. And I'm like, "Who? For you or for me?" Or, what's happening? And then like in the evening, snacks are like whatever. I have popcorn. Halo Top some nights if I'm fancying something like that, or just regular ice cream or whatever I fancy. I'm not like restrictive, but definitely jellies every day. This Lindt Easter egg has been staring at me for a while, so that might get it today. Apart from that, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's definitely harder to I find I'm like checking the fridge like 17 times a day. It's definitely harder to control yourself. I find when I'm here all the time, you know.
Definitely.
Yeah, maintenance is probably like the best you can do at the moment.
I think
that's
that's
probably
that
not
would
even
be
landing at that, but like,
that's like a huge success for anyone, Carl. I think anyone that
Oh,
can just kind
yeah.
of maintain their weight and get out the other side of this lockdown, not having put on weight, I think is like a huge success.
Yeah. The stress of people are under as well, like people like everyone's like out of work and this and that and the other. And I think the unknown is the big part because like I actually have a question here. What do you think will have changed by the time it all returns to normal? And like that's the thing. I don't think like anyone knows. Like you know what I mean? Like we can come up with our opinion of something, but like I really don't think anyone knows, and that's probably part of the problem with like nutrition and drinking. And some people will have their thing of like they'll have a few more beers or they'll have chocolate or whatever it might be. But you're definitely steered towards that more when you're like, well, 3 months from now, what's going to happen? 6 months from now, what's going to happen? Like, say, like most of us are doing in-person coaching. Are we going back to that before we get a vaccine? Like my whole job was one-to-one in person. Like, am I going to train anyone for the next year? I don't know, in person. Like, so I think that is kind of scary for me anyway, and I won't assume for everyone. So I think it's hard to kind of come up with like what you think is going to happen, but it's not going to be straightforward. It's not going to be like 5th of May, right? Let's go, everyone back to work and shaking hands. That's definitely not going to happen. So I don't know what way they're going to structure it.
Was that like specific to the health and fitness industry or just in general?
Like I don't know. I assume the health and fitness industry, but like if you're talking health and fitness, like there's like until there's a vaccine, like you're not going to be able to be like social distancing is going to have to be applied.
Yeah.
So like what happens to gyms where you had like 10, 15 people in a class? You can't social distance, but they're relying on the numbers to run a gym. So I don't know. What happens to personal trainers? You're one-to-one with someone. Like
I think it's much more likely that you'll be back before that will be back. Do you know that kind of way?
Yeah, I know, but at the same time, like it's
still you don't know where people are or who they're in contact.
You don't know where people are, and like say if you have clients, like everyone has parents and grandparents or whatever, you know what I mean? Like so even though like clients might be healthy or like might be younger and in a kind of better age or health bracket or whatever like that, everyone has like parents and stuff like that they're kind of worried over. So I don't think people will people come back to doing that until there's a vaccine because they're worried, that kind of way. So I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know,
Any-
man.
Any got ideas on that?
Well, I think that's like, Carl, what you're saying there. You know, most personal trainers work out of gyms that are group facilities as well. And that all just gets lumped in together, I think. Like, as far
Yeah.
as any kind of policy for going back, it's not going to be like, well, I'm Carl and I only do it one-to-one. I can go
Yeah.
back to the gym. It's not going to be as detailed as that. Like, a gym is just going to get lumped in some category as a place that can or can't open.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's just the uncertainty of things, like with vaccines. And like, when's the next time you're going to shake hands with someone? Or there's just there's so many unknowns. So I don't really know what's going to happen. I don't know, like, is it going to be like in the future when gyms go back, is it going to be a case where, oh yeah, it's grand to just have 30 people in a small space in a class somewhere, like jumping around, like going mad? Or is it going to be a case where they bring in things where, like, gatherings are restricted, whether it be a gym or wherever? It's just, it's unknown territory. It's like, it's kind of like when the recession happened, it goes, okay, like, we need to recover, we need to take time to recover. Like, it's economic. You can kind of go, the timeline is long, but we know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Whereas here, it's really like, what's going on? Nobody really knows. It's just, as things are happening, we're kind of trying to figure things out. Like, so it's all a bit mad.
Yeah, and I think if they do take, you know, when they do take restrictions off, or like lax them a bit, like, you could just get a resurgence of the virus, and then everyone goes into lockdown again. And, you know, so anyone that kind of says like, oh well, this is going to happen, like, I don't think they're just kind of saying their opinion, but it's not necessarily true. Like.
Yeah.
I think they'll definitely have great restrictions on, obviously, public gatherings, like, you know, or where there's large group settings of anybody, and they'll probably have number restrictions, I'd imagine. As for gyms, God, I don't know. We can just open up our own bespoke one where you're in a little Perspex box.
It's
But that's
mad.
because like all the gyms in the country, they get by of like, right, of this many members, they pay this much a month and this many expenses.
I know,
And like, if they go, right, there's a restriction, and now you had 200 people coming into this facility over this time, you can only have 50. Well, then the expenses are still the same. So how does that work?
The only thing is, if they have, like, a lot of places, you have to book in your session. You know, if you're booking into a spin class or to even a lot of the CrossFit gyms and stuff, they have a booking in system, because they'll only take a certain number of people.
Yeah, but if you have that and you only allowed 6 people in it, and it's prime time, 6 p.m., and only 6 people are allowed in that class, like, what are all the other people
I
doing?
know, I don't know what they'll... But it'll be interesting anyway to see. I think like the building industry and stuff seems to be the ones that are being allowed back first. In other countries and stuff as well, you know, to try and get industry back up and going and stuff like that. So I don't know what's going to happen here. We'll just have to wait and see.
Even like, aside from gyms, just I think I was talking to Aoife about this the other day, but like, who knows when you'll get to a concert again? Like, the music industry is like, I don't, like, not this year, next year, who fucking knows? Like, 10,000 people in the same room, like, will that ever happen again? I don't know.
No, we had Kaleidoscope booked for this year. We went last year. You know, the kids are raging over that, like, because we were kind of saying, even though they haven't announced that they're cancelling it, or they're kind of saying, oh, we'll wait and see. You're kind of like, cop on, it's not going ahead. You know, use your brain. But like that, they're not going to. That's not going to.
But also offensive.
You know. But like that, and then we had another concert with Emily during the summer as well, and that's already been cancelled, and it's been postponed till I think January or something, or January or February next year, which is great. Like, you know, just make a plan, and instead of kind of saying, oh, we'll postpone it for a couple of months, or we'll postpone it till then. So yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what will happen, and as well, will they test people to see? You know, they're trying to do that as well, to test to see if you're immune to it or have antibodies to it and stuff like that. You know, so it's so new, it's so unknown. You know, so it's literally day by day they're learning more information about it and figuring it all out. You know, so.
Carl, who the fuck is asking these hard-hitting questions? My God.
No, right?
feel like a journalist hijacked your Instagram. How to
Yeah,
get us.
tell that person we're not the World Health Organization.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
listen to us.
Yeah,
Um,
honest to God. Say,
like
yes.
on a much more lighthearted note, has anyone watched anything decent? Like I started watching the show.
Tiger
And
King.
I've just started watching that Tiger King. Literally, I
Rubbish.
watched one episode like a couple of weeks ago, and it didn't really grab me.
Yeah,
And then I started watching it again yesterday, and then I watched 3 episodes yesterday.
it's so good. So good.
That's rubbish. I did see it too. Anywho, I'll tell you one to watch. Money
Cool.
Heist
Oh,
on
yeah.
Netflix. It's brilliant, I have to say.
Is that
It's in-
subtitled? No.
It is. It's in Spanish, but it's really good if you're looking for something to watch.
Yeah.
For sure.
Cool. I won't need those subtitles. I'm fluent. So what about you?
I just got to the end of season 3 of Ozark. Like yesterday, was it
Oh,
yesterday or
yeah.
the day before? But I think Ozark is good. It's very Breaking Bad esque. But some people had said to me, "When you wait till you get to the end of series 3, like, oh my god, the last episode." And then I watched it, and I was kind of like, "You've clearly never seen Game of Thrones, where like every character you've ever like gets killed off all the time." So it was good, like, but it wasn't necessarily that shocking. There's another series I watched. Series 1 is actually really good. Series 2 is a bit of a stinker, but it's called You. It's about this guy he's kind of a stalker, and he stalks a girl. He ends up going out with her. It's actually really good, Lou.
Is this a guy in the bookstore?
I've seen it.
Yeah. Series 1 is really, really good. Series 2 is crap, but it's really, really good. I thought it was good. And then the ending of Series 1 it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Just watch it.
Lou Grania wrote here, she's with you on the Money Heist. So there's a few people on that.
It's really good.
I've heard it's really good, yeah.
A thing that's coming back, I think tonight or tomorrow or something like that, is that Ricky Gervais thing Afterlife. I don't know if you've ever seen the first season of that, but it's brilliant.
It's brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
The second season's coming out now. But I'm sure the first season's on like Netflix or something. I think I watched it on telly when it came out. But surely it's somewhere you can find it.
I think it's on Netflix till the 24th of this month. I don't know if they're removing it or if that's the date that the second one is coming out. But I actually only watched an interview with Ricky Gervais the other day. And
he's brilliant.
He's brilliant. And I watched that program last year, and it's just brilliant.
Yeah.
And he just hits the nail on the head when it comes to grief.
Yeah.
And but
It's
for even
like-
people that aren't going through it, like, watch it. It's brilliant. He is brilliant. He's nuts, like,
Yeah.
you know.
And it's like a comedy, but it's like
It's
really
so-
hard hitting. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
but it's like real life. It's exactly
Yeah.
how you feel, like, you know. I think he's phenomenal. I can't wait to see the second one, actually.
Yeah.
It should
So
be really
I've never
good.
even heard of this.
Oh,
I think
Give
it
me a rundown in like less than
Yeah.
10 words.
his wife died, so he's kind of like
going
shows
through.
him coping with that.
Cool.
That's
Yeah, no, it's really powerful. It really
Mm.
is good, you know. And sometimes you kind of go, oh my God, but you're like, oh, totally, yeah. You know, like, he doesn't want to get up and do anything, or, you know, but he has to, because he has a dog there that he has to get up and feed, and, you know, that kind of way. It's just,
How to
it's
keep
really,
going
really
type
good.
thing.
No, it's really good. Definitely worth a watch.
Cool.
Yeah.
Carl, someone also asked me about the step challenge and the activity challenge. You've had a good bit of feedback on that. Is there something for this week, or are you going to carry that over into this week as well?
So I'm gonna keep carrying that over. So I think just the 70,000 a week is good, because people, like, some people there are like whatever 7,000 or 8,000 a day. They were too busy one day, and then 13,000 and 14,000 the next day or whatever. But it is kind of like a target for people to aim at, and it's not kind of like, I think some people take it nearly as like a competition, and they're like, you know, who can get the highest? I'm like, no, that's not what it's for. It's just a target for people to aim at, you know, that 70,000, and to get there or close enough to there. But I think I kind of keep that going, because if you're at home throughout the day, like, I don't know, me, to get over 10,000 steps, like, I definitely need to go for 2 good walks a day.
Yeah.
You know, 2 good walks a day, and then a bit of activity around that as well. So it's just to get people up and moving, you know, off their desk. So I think a lot of people are like getting up early, going for 20 minutes, half an hour walk before they start their work at home or whatever, maybe a bit more at lunch, a bit more in the evening, and that will be ideal rather than kind of sitting all day for say 12 hours and then going for like an hour walk. I'd like to see people move more throughout the day, and more on kind of injury thing. I'm always coming back to that, put yourself with that. But I'm probably going to continue that. And like that, if people have a bike in their house or something like that where they can't get out as much, the 500 active minutes, they're going to aim at that then, so they can get on the bike at home or whatever. And either or is just keeping your activity high, and that's the main thing. Like there's no, like if you're sitting like all day every day and then you're trying to do a couple of workouts here and there to kind of counteract that, you'd be much better off not doing the workouts and actually moving throughout the day. You know what I mean? Like, and getting like whatever 10,000 steps in a day, rather than 2 or 3 workouts after sitting all day. And I don't know about you, but like if I sit for a few hours, like imagine getting up off the chair and then trying to do like burpees and all that. Like, no way. You gotta move. Like you gotta move.
Yeah. Nukes. Sarah Cooper asked, "What's the TV show called?"
Money Heist.
No. Oh yeah, cool.
That
Or
one?
maybe she means the Ricky Gervais one. I'm not sure.
Afterlife.
Oh, Afterlife.
Afterlife.
Yeah.
Okay, Money Heist.
Yeah.
Or
Money
Cool.
Heist. It's a Spanish one. They're both on Netflix.
Sweet, cool guys.
On Netflix.
Thanks. We'll wrap it up there.
Excellent.
Yes.
Good to see
Mucho
you guys.
excelente.
Same time, possibly next week, but we cannot confirm that yet because we don't know if Phil will be out of bed.
I just barely made it this morning. I just barely made it this
We
morning.
even had people that sat through the whole thing listening to us here, so that's pretty
Wow.
good.
Deadly.
Congratulations to them, listening to us for that long.
Yeah. Right, go on. I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching,
you
everybody.
later.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.